My friend sent me a big folder of samples to flip, so I made it my mission to make beats out of all of them. What's up, and welcome back to Beat Goblin, or welcome to Beat Goblin if you're coming from the Gabe Miller music video you likely just watched. Today, we're just diving into kind of a potluck of beat making. My friend Connor, aka King Chemist, sent me a big old folder full of samples that he made by playing virtual instruments, running them through a ton of effects, and then rendering out the results. And he and I are slowly working on some sort of collaborative project. And so one of the ways that we're getting the creative juices flowing is he's sending me these samples that he's been making, and I've made it my mission to flip all of them. And I've just been having a lot of fun going ham on the MPC One, and I just want to show you how that's been going. So first of all, let's look at this kind of little house beat, and then we're going to move kind of genre hopping. So we'll have timestamps provided below if you want to skip around. Regardless. So here's what this started life as. In this case, this is just a single sample that went through some modulation. I cherry picked a single section of that, which is that loop that you're hearing. Seemingly almost at random, but I noticed a little groove in there. So I loaded in a machine kit, which I converted to MPC format using the software kit maker, and made a little swung drum groove. You'll notice that I've got my swing set to 61 in this case. Paired with the sample, it creates a little swung groove. I should also note a couple things. First of all, this hi-hat has the pumper effect on it and the ensemble effect to give it some stereo width. So it almost acts more like kind of a shaker track. We got a separate hi-hat for your kind of offbeat part. So if I mute this pad, just a pretty simple little beat with a bunch of fun little fill elements. And I've got the kick sent to the ducker. Now if I go on a track mix, I've got the ducker on the sample. Then we bring in the bass line. This is made with the Hype synth. This is a pretty much unmodified preset. For simple sounds like this, it's actually pretty good. Then we load in another machine kit. So among other things, we've got this little bass growl, this little plinky sound that I've just cherry-picked a piece of. And I've pitched this around quite a bit and processed it a lot. And then these samples that I have flangered and ping-pong delayed. Let me just play that without the original sample. So we've got some material to work with. And eventually I'm going to export all these tracks so we can work with them in our respective DAWs. I'll probably also explode this drum track so I can kind of build it up piece by piece in terms of increasing energy level. And then a couple other fun little things. This extra little bass. Probably not going to keep that little theremin sound, but it's there. That's been the basic workflow, is load in one of those samples, load in a couple of machine kits, and just go. Go with whatever my first instinct is. And it's genuinely some of the most fun I've had making beats in quite a while. Here's another one. I showed pieces of this in the main channel video, so I'm not going to go too in-depth with it here, but a couple things I want to draw your attention to. First of all, I've swapped out the kick for this machine kit. I'm using the soft clipper, which is great. I use it on all my trap kicks at this point. And I've cut the attack of the 808, so it doesn't fight with the kick. and a couple of other MPC specific things that I want to draw your attention to. First of all, for that kick roll, just to make things easy on myself, I went into note repeat, selected eighths and triplets. That way I could just record that note roll in and then turn everything back to normal. That's all it took. And then this hi-hat's fun. Did some note rolls with the similar method, and I've got it sent to the LFO, where the pitch and the pan are being modulated, so it bounces around quite a bit. We are side training the sample. And I've got just a really basic ass little tube synth part with literally the default preset. Up next, while we're still on the Trap Beats hype train, here's another. This one's a little stranger. I basically used the sample as is. I just loaded it into a clip here. I've done a bit of processing to it. Some EQ. Some granulator. And then the ducker. These drums are fun. So we've got these extra elements like percussion bit. This is another machine kit, by the way. This is from their drill pack. So among other things, I've got another LFO sent to this part, so it's bouncing around in your ears frantically. And for this hi-hat here, for these hi-hat rolls, I'm literally just automating the pitch. So if I go into grid here and select this, change this to pitch, you can see the wild pitch automations that I basically just dialed in by ear and went from there. Up next, an 808 with lots and lots of pitch jumps and just diode clip as the only processing. But it's doing a lot of heavy lifting. And then an extra little chop, just pitched an octave up. A simple little beat. We can probably expand on this. We may or may not do that, but it was fun to make. Switching gears though, we've got something a little more kind of lo-fi slash old school. So this sample, as originally sent to me, is pretty much fully formed, which because this is a collaboration, I'm totally fine with that. I've like cherry picked a part of it because it kind of does this little looping rhythm. And so I just isolated a piece that had a rhythm that stuck out to me. Hear those little swells. And in this case, the drums are actually pretty much on the grid. I should probably like hop in and move some of them around a little bit to get a bit more of an organic feel, but I kind of like the march that they're doing. And the sample being like not 100% locked kind of helps give more of a human feel. Regardless, let me sew this. You'll never guess where this came from. It's another machine kit. I've done a bit of manipulation, but for the most part, a lot of it's fairly untouched. This gets some light processing. This kick layer gets some reverb. And also some soft clipping and high passing. Bit of soft clipping on this kick. If you want to make your drums knock, soft clipping. a modified preset, electro kick sub bass. I use this all the time for boom bap and lo-fi style stuff. Bit of sidechaining to the kick, distortion cranked up a bit, all together, plus one more element with this key group program. That's a bit sloppy, but hopefully you get the idea. This is sampled from my Minilog, and it is part of my $5 key group pack. Link in the description. I really like this patch, and just wanted an excuse to use it. Alternately, he sent me some drums. I had some fun with those. Kind of basic, but fun nonetheless. And finally, something from completely left field. So you can hear the sample continuing. I'm gonna stop that though. In this case, once again, I've loaded in some machine kits, and I've used just bits and pieces like cherry picking, say this clap, subtle little white noise hi-hat, and then this kind of 808 kick combo that I'm either layering or switching back and forth. And I've gone in and high passed and soft clipped both of these because originally they were basically like these kind of sine wave tones that were just clogging up the low end. Like a lot of low end is nice, but it was too much. And it was like distorting. And speaking of distorting, I actually have gone in and put diode clip on my entire drum bus, which is a bit absurd, but it sounds kind of dope. So here's without. That just brings it to life. When it's on this whole stack of sounds, I actually think it sounds dope. We've got like this little click sound, this kind of bass stab thing. It's kind of inharmonic, but in combination with everything else. I would like to hear the V-digs on this. That is, of course, fantastically unlikely, but that would be dope. And then this, like, knocking on your door horror sound. And just these little kind of little one-shots. Anyway, a bit of a weird one. And that's actually going to do it for this one. So if you'd like to see some more kind of unhinged beat making, you can click or tap up over here. And if you'd like to see me and Connor make a beat together, you can click or tap down over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with a new video in a little bit.